My name is Jack. I'm 50. I spent 10 years living in a brick house in the Tulsa suburbs with Laura and her 2 kids, Cody and Mallory. We were never married, her choice. I asked, twice. The second time was after her appendix surgery, when I sat at her bedside for 3 straight nights, bringing her soup, helping her shower, sleeping in that plastic chair that made my back feel 20 years older. I thought maybe that kind of loyalty meant something. She said, "Why do we need a piece of paper if things are fine the way they are?" But fine starts to smell after a while. It turns to mildew in the corners. You stop noticing it, and then one day it knocks you flat. I paid the mortgage. The house wasn't mine, not legally. Her ex-husband, Darren, bought it with her back when she still believed in picket fences and joint bank accounts. Then he walked out, left the bills in a shoebox and a silence that never left. When I moved in, Laura handed me the keys, just for now, she said. Until I figure things out. That now turned into a decade. I fixed the roof, replaced the windows, painted the fence twice a year because she liked the cedar look. Built a shed from scratch with my own hands. No kits, no shortcuts. It even had shelves and a power strip. I paid for the groceries, covered the insurance, paid for Cody's football club fees, Mallory's dance shoes, therapy sessions no one ever thanked me for. I was the ghost who funded their lives. They never said thank you. Not really. Not in a way that meant anything. I was the one who drove through storms to pick them up when they forgot their keys. The one who paid for textbooks they never read. When Cody cracked his phone screen again, I was the one who replaced it. Quietly, without making a scene, without asking for anything in return. And still, if you asked either of them who I was, they'd say it like I was the neighbor who dropped in uninvited. Oh, him? That's just Mom's boyfriend. Just not the man who kept the lights on. Not the one who stayed when their real father disappeared like vapor. Not the one who sat in the back row of every parent-teacher night even when no one saved him a seat. I didn't expect to be called Dad. That's not what this is about. I knew my place, or at least I thought I did. But what no one tells you, what they don't warn you about, is that being the man who shows up every single day slowly starts to erode you when no one bothers to notice. You become something like furniture. Useful. Out of the way. Taken for granted. I was the hallway wallpaper. Only noticed when it ripped. Cody was 16 when I moved in. Tall for his age. Sharp jawline like his father's. Always angry at someone. Mallory was 13. Obsessed with Tumblr and glitter and some boy band I could never name. At first, I told myself it was normal. The distance, the eye rolls, the stiff silence at dinner. Teenagers, right? But they didn't soften. They calcified. The more I gave, the less I mattered. There was a night, small, meaningless to anyone else, that etched itself into me. Mallory spilled orange juice on the beige couch. I had just cleaned it, bought special cleaner and everything. I told her, "Grab a towel, would you?" She looked up at me, eyes full of contempt, and said, "You're not my dad." Not yelling, not sobbing, just facts, cold and effortless. Laura was sitting right there, feet tucked under her on the recliner, phone in her lap. She heard it, saw it. I waited for her to say something, anything. All I got was, "Teenagers, don't take it to heart." But I did. Of course I did. Because that moment wasn't a mistake. It was a mirror. A reflection of what I was to all of them, necessary but not welcome. Present but never truly inside the circle. Even in the most mundane things, the distance showed. When they were sick, I picked up prescriptions. When the dishwasher broke, I stayed up past midnight fixing the drain with borrowed tools and YouTube tutorials. When the cat had to be put down, I was the one who drove it to the vet and buried it in the backyard. They didn't come outside. They just asked me to make sure the hole was deep enough. On holidays, I sat through family dinners where stories were told in past tense. Stories that predated me. They laughed about vacations with Darren, about that time they went to Disney World and Mallory got sick on the teacups. I sat there, cutting my ham, sipping wine I paid for, listening like an outsider. No one ever told stories that began with "after Jack came into our lives." Even Laura. Especially Laura. She was careful with words. Always diplomatic. Always neutral. When I bought her a necklace one year, sterling silver with a garnet pendant, she wore it twice. Then it disappeared into the back of her drawer. When I asked, she smiled and said, "Oh, I didn't want to lose it." She never wore it again. I once overheard her on the phone with her sister. She thought I was outside. She said, "Jack's just stable. It's not fireworks, but it's something. Not fireworks. Just stable. Like concrete. Like linoleum." She didn't mean to hurt me, I think. But the worst pain is the kind people don't even realize they're giving. What no one tells you about being the step anything is this: you're never invited into the bloodline. You're tolerated on the condition that you ask for nothing, require nothing, and vanish when inconvenient. Cody had a school project once, a model of some ancient temple. I stayed up with him past midnight building it. Used my own tools, my own foam board, even drove to Walmart at 10 p.m. to get extra glue. When he got a B+, he gave credit to his art teacher. Never mentioned me. Mallory had a panic attack the night before her driving test. I sat in the car with her, ran drills, told her stories about how I failed my first time to make her laugh. She passed on the first try. She thanked her mom. Never looked at me. But they used my car. They used my everything. When Cody applied for college, I was the one who set up the FAFSA account. Entered his social security number. Co-signed the loan. When the acceptance letter came, Laura cried. Mallory hugged him. I stood there with the envelope in my hand like it was radioactive. He didn't say a word to me. Not a glance. Not a nod. Nothing. That night, I sat in the garage with a beer and the leftover insulation from when I redid the attic. I stared at it for hours. Not thinking, not planning, just feeling the weight of a life that wasn't mine. I wasn't a husband. I wasn't a father. I was a worker ant with a debit card. Reliable. That word. That curse. Laura used it like a compliment. "You're so reliable, Jack." She said it when the power went out and I got the generator running. She said it when I shoveled the snow before her parents came to visit. She said it like I should be proud. But reliable doesn't mean loved. It means you're the one who doesn't break until one day you do. And when you break, they'll be surprised. Because they never saw the cracks forming. They never looked that close. To this day, I still remember the first night I felt invisible. It was Cody's birthday. His real dad sent a gift, a drone. Probably expensive. Showed up 3 days late in a ripped Amazon box. Cody lit up like Christmas. Spent all night in the yard with it. I had bought him a jacket. A leather one he'd pointed out in a store 6 months before. I saved for it. Put it on layaway. Wrapped it myself. He opened it. Said, "Oh," and set it aside. Never wore it. I didn't say a word. Didn't bring it up. Just folded the wrapping paper and threw it away while they all played with the drone. That's when I knew. I was never going to be part of their story. Not really. I was the scaffolding holding up a house that was built without me and would stand or fall. The same way when I was gone. They say love is patient. Love is kind. But sometimes, love is just quiet. Too quiet. So quiet it forgets itself. And in that silence, I began to disappear. Parent-teacher night. Mallory was 17. Already acting like 25. She dressed sharp that evening, black skirt, blazer, boots with the kind of heel that clicks like a threat across tile floors. Laura came straight from the office, still in her courtroom suit. Hair tied tight, pearl earrings. Her divorce lawyer stood beside her. Not needed, not invited, but there. A friend, apparently. Just support. I drove. No one spoke much on the way. Mallory had earbuds in. Laura was tapping something into her phone. I watched the traffic lights blink green to yellow to red like they were trying to warn me. Still, I parked where I always did. Front row. Left the car running a minute longer than I needed to. Inside, the teacher greeted us. One of those young, exhausted women who wore stress like perfume. We sat in tiny chairs meant for children, knees crammed under a too-small desk. Laura crossed her legs. Mallory rolled her eyes. I stayed quiet. The teacher started talking about assignments missed, class participation, writing skills that were present but inconsistent. Then Laura cut in. She said, clear as glass. He's a useless father. He doesn't participate. The words didn't drop. They landed, like a hammer against a hollow wall. For a moment, the room went dead. Even the teacher blinked. Looked at me, unsure, probably wondering if she'd missed something. I didn't speak. I just sat there, staring down at the grain of the wooden desk. Tiny scratches, carved initials, gum under the edge. I felt my ears buzz, like white noise flooding in, drowning everything but her voice echoing back. Useless. Father. Doesn't participate. The irony stung. I'd been to every school play, helped her with every essay, paid for every private tutor Mallory insisted she didn't need but used anyway. I bought the damn laptop she wrote those essays on. And here I was, erased in a single sentence. I drove home in silence. Neither of them noticed the trembling in my hands. That night I lay on my side of the bed, back turned, eyes wide open. Laura came in late, smelled like perfume that wasn't hers. Her heels hit the floor one by one. She didn't speak, just slid under the covers like nothing had happened. I stared into the dark and counted seconds between her breaths. The next morning, I opened a folder I hadn't touched in 5 years. It had all the passwords. Banking, utilities, insurance, tuition. I didn't rage, didn't pace. Just sat at the dining table and shut the whole damn machine down. Quietly, efficiently. First, the mortgage autopay. Off. Water. Off. Gas. Cancelled. Internet. Gone. Cody's tuition draft, that one took a minute. Password reset. Verification code. Cancel. Mallory's phone plan. Removed. Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, Apple Family Share, all dead by sunrise. One by one, I unplugged myself from their world, like a ghost folding into fog. I didn't leave a note. I didn't scream or break things or demand gratitude. I just stopped. 2 days passed. Then 3. I stayed at the shop. Slept in the back office on a cot we kept for late nights. No one called. No one checked. Cody must have assumed I was away for work. Laura probably thought I was sulking. Mallory didn't care. On the 4th day, I went back. Just to see. Just for closure. The house was cold. I walked in through the side door. No one heard me. Cody was in the kitchen, smacking the side of the coffee maker. He muttered something about no power. I stood there a full minute before he noticed. He turned. Hey, the Wi-Fi's not working. I nodded. Yeah. He blinked. Can you fix it? I'm not on the account anymore. Mallory came down the stairs with wet hair and a dead phone in her hand. The power's out upstairs too. What the hell? I didn't answer. She looked up from her screen. Also, my car won't start. It's just clicking. I told you a month ago your battery was dying. She scoffed. So fix it. I met her eyes. No. That one word changed the temperature in the room. Cody straightened. Mallory froze. They looked at each other, then at me, like I was speaking another language. I opened the fridge. Empty. Milk sour. Eggs cracked in the carton. Laura wasn't home. I left without another word. That night she called. Hey! She started, voice sweet and thin. I noticed some of the bills bounced. Did something happen? No. I just stopped paying. Silence. Then, what? I stopped. Everything. Another silence. Heavier. You didn't even talk to me about it. I smiled. You didn't talk to me at that conference. Her breath caught. Then, curtly, so this is revenge? No. This is reality. You all said it. I'm not their father. I'm not part of the family. I'm useless. Now I'm just proving it. I hung up. 2 days later, the text started. First from Cody. Hey, I can't log into my college portal. Did the password change? I didn't answer. Then from Mallory. I need my insurance info. Can't schedule an appointment without it. Still silence. Then Laura again. We need to talk. This is affecting the kids. I stared at her message. Let it sit unread. They wanted me gone. Fine. Let them live in the world without me. The next week I heard from Darren. Steve. Whatever name he was going by now. He called. Hadn't spoken to me in 7 years. Said, I heard what's happening. I'm here for them if needed. I asked, financially. He hesitated. I'm between jobs. But I'll be present. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Dry. Ugly. Then they've got nothing. He didn't call again. The days stretched long. I started waking before the sun. Making coffee just for myself. Driving to work in silence. Coming home to no one. It was strange. The absence felt heavier than the presence ever had. Then, midweek, Mallory showed up. She stood at the threshold of the shop like she was waiting for a verdict. I'm looking for part-time jobs, she said. Can you help me fill out a resume? I nodded. Handed her a notebook. That was it. No hug. No apology. Just the beginning of reality cracking through entitlement. A few days later, Cody texted. Said he'd sold his speakers. Asked if I wanted to buy his old laptop. I said no. Then I saw it, the necklace. The one I gave Laura 3 anniversaries ago. She pawned it. I saw the listing online. Recognized the clasp. Unique. Hand-etched. She didn't think I'd notice. Didn't think I'd still look. I didn't message her. Didn't ask. What was the point? She started coming home later. Dressed too well for errands. Hair curled. Perfume heavy. Heels in her hand. I watched it all happen from a distance. She wanted me to ask. Wanted me to snap. I didn't. Let her fall in love with someone else's silence. I owed nothing now. Then, one night, a week after prom, Mallory broke. I wasn't there. But Cody told me later. He said she just started crying at the kitchen table. Said everything was falling apart. Said I was punishing them. Cody told her. No, he's just showing us what he did for us. Laura came to me the next day. She stood in my driveway like a stranger. They get it, she said. Let's move forward. I looked at her. I asked one question. Do you respect me? She looked away. Didn't speak. Didn't answer. I packed before sunrise. Left the tools. Left the spare keys. Left a single note on the counter. Now you have everything you wanted. Without me. And I left. They say collapse is slow. That things fall apart like sand through fingers. But that's not how it went. In my absence, everything broke fast. Quicker than even I expected. You'd think, after 10 years of running their lives like a one-man utility company, they'd know how to maintain it. They didn't. I was the pipes, the wiring, the quiet hum in the walls. And when I left, truly left, the house became a carcass. The first week, Cody sold his speaker system. The one he begged for junior year. Promised to use it responsibly. He got maybe a third of what I paid. Listed it on some app. Threw in the wires and remote like it meant nothing. Mallory sold her prom dress. It still had the tag I forgot to remove. She told Laura she was keeping it forever. Forever lasted 5 months. They posted things one by one, shoes, headphones, gift cards like animals chewing off limbs to escape the trap. Laura pawned the necklace. The garnet one. The only real gift I'd given that held any weight. I found the listing by accident. Late one night, scrolling through a local shop site. There it was. Clear as daylight. Same chain. Same clasp I had engraved with her initials. L.H. In a loop I carved myself. Took me 2 weeks to learn how to etch. She didn't think I'd see it. Didn't think I still looked. I didn't message her. Didn't ask. I just watched it drop in price every few days. From $350 to $280 to $199. A bargain. Like her loyalty. The bills hit harder than they thought. The mortgage bank called. I know because they accidentally emailed me. My name was still on the paperless notification. Laura must have tried to redirect it and failed. Utilities flickered. 1 week the trash wasn't picked up. Mallory posted an Instagram story. Candles lit in the living room, acting like it was aesthetic. But I knew what it meant. No power. Then came the food. The fridge had always been full when I was there. I stocked it, cared about expiration dates, read the labels, bought what they liked even when I didn't. Laura always had almond milk. Mallory had some brand of cereal with marshmallows. Cody inhaled frozen burritos like air. All of it, quietly, invisibly, supplied by me. When I dropped by to pick up my mail, the pantry had a single box of pasta and half a bag of rice. They were surviving on backup plans. Cody called me 2 weeks in. Said, "I know you're mad, but can you help me get my login back? The college portal's still locked." I said, "You'll have to reset it." I did. It sends the code to your number. I stayed quiet. He waited. Then, quieter. "Please." I ended the call. Mallory came to the shop the next day. She didn't wear makeup. First time I'd seen her that bare since she was 14. She didn't look like a child anymore. But she didn't look like a woman either. Just tired. That teenage arrogance drained out. Like someone finally pulled the curtain back and showed her what stood behind it. She held a notebook to her chest. "I'm applying for jobs," she said. I nodded. Waited. "I don't know what to put under experience." I gestured to the seat across from me. Handed her a pen. We wrote her first resume together in silence. I didn't ask why. Didn't ask what changed. I knew. The safety net was gone. They had to learn how to land hard. Laura showed up a few nights later. She didn't call. Just knocked. I didn't open the door right away. I let her wait in the cold. Just long enough for her breath to fog the glass. When I finally stepped outside, she looked thinner. Pale. Like she hadn't slept in days. She didn't wear her wedding ring. Not that we had one. But I used to joke she wore her silence like a band. "They understand now," she said. Her voice was small. I didn't reply. "They know what you did for them. What it meant." I looked at her. "Do they?" She shifted. "Cody's trying. He's working weekends at the grocery store. Mallory's seeing a counselor. She talks about you. She's ashamed. They should be. I am too." That surprised me. Not the words, anyone can say anything. But the way she said them. Not defensive. Not teary. Just flat. Like she'd finally stopped pretending. "I didn't protect you," she whispered. I didn't nod. Didn't forgive. "I let them believe you didn't matter. You did more than let them. You led by example." She flinched. I watched the weight land. Let her carry it. "I can't fix it," she said. "No," I replied. "You can't." Then she tried one last card. "We can start over." It hung there between us, like some fragile bridge over a chasm too wide to leap. I asked her one question. Same one I'd been asking in my head for years but never out loud. "Do you respect me?" She looked at the ground. That was the answer. I left before sunrise the next day. Didn't pack much. Just my tools. Some clothes. A framed photo of my dog who died 3 years ago. The only thing in that house that ever loved me without condition. I didn't take the TV. Left the furniture. Left the lawnmower. Wrote one line on a yellow sticky note. Stuck it to the fridge. "Now you have everything you wanted. Without me." I moved to Oregon. Didn't tell anyone where. I found a cabin near a lake. One of those places where fog hangs like a second skin over the trees. Cold mornings. Quiet nights. The kind of place where the wind doesn't ask questions, and the stars don't care who you used to be. The cabin has one room. A stove. No TV. One set of dishes. I eat the same 3 meals. I don't mind. Routine is a kindness when no one's bleeding you dry. I visit the general store once a week. Buy beans. Bread. Canned soup. Sometimes I talk to the clerk. She asks if I'm retired. I say no. She asks if I'm married. I say nothing. I fish in the mornings. Not to catch anything. Just to sit still. To breathe without waiting for someone to ask for more. Sometimes, Mallory texts, "Hope you're okay. Thinking of you. I got the job." I don't respond. Cody tried calling once. I let it ring out. Then he tried again. Sent a message. "Hey, just wanted to say thank you. For everything." Too late. Laura's number is still saved. I see the notifications. I never block them. I want them to know I still could reply. But I won't. That's the difference. They don't miss me. They miss what I gave them. The money, the warmth, the silence. They miss reliable. But I'm not that anymore. I'm free. And every morning, when I wake to the sound of wind scratching the windows, I ask myself the same question. Did they ever love me? Or did they just fear the day I'd stop giving? And every night, before the fire dies, I ask the other question, the one that never changes. Was I wrong to leave? Or would staying have made me a fool? I didn't plan for this. I didn't fantasize about exile or dream of solitude like some romantic fool waiting for the world to miss him. No, this wasn't rebellion. This was retreat. When I left Tulsa, I didn't look back. I didn't watch the porch disappear in the rearview mirror. I didn't let the house grow smaller in the distance. I didn't give myself that scene. There was no poetry in my leaving. Only survival. The cabin is quiet. Old pine walls. Cracked stone hearth. It smells like wood and earth and something older than grief. There's a lake 10 minutes out, tucked in the trees like a secret. It's always cold, even in summer. I never swim. Just sit near it in the mornings and let the mist wrap around my knees. The silence here is thick, heavier than it should be. But honest, there's a radio on the shelf. Shortwave. I never use it. No one's calling. No one's answering. And I'm fine with that. I cut and stack firewood every other day. Keeps me warm. Keeps me moving. I don't need much. A stove. A cot. Kettle. One chair. One table. One life. Sometimes I talk aloud. Just to keep my voice from rusting. Mostly I don't. The mail comes once a week. General store keeps it behind the counter. There are always envelopes with my name on them. Utility transfers I no longer pay. Insurance notifications. Laura's handwriting on manila. Sometimes cards from Mallory. She never stopped writing. Happy birthday. Thinking of you. Hope you're warm this winter. She writes like she's still 13. Hopeful. Wide-eyed. Trying to build a bridge with crayon and glitter. I don't write back. Because I know what she's really saying. We need you again. Not for love. For structure. For warmth. For something to push against. She never said sorry. Not once. Cody hasn't written. But he left a voicemail on New Year's. His voice cracked in the middle. Said he was sorry. Said he didn't know. That if he could go back, he'd change everything. Then he hung up. I saved it. Not because it matters, but because it's proof the message landed. Laura sent a letter in March. Said she's seeing someone. Said the kids are making their way. Mallory's in community college. Cody works in shipping. Said she thought I should know. I burned it. It's not hate. It's not bitterness. It's just done. Like leaving food too long on the stove. It doesn't scream. It just goes quiet. Then black. They keep trying to pull me back in. Laura calls the store sometimes. Asks the clerk if I'm all right. The clerk tells her I buy beans and look tired. That I tip well. That I don't smile much. Good. Let them imagine I'm haunted. Let them wonder if I'm broken. I'm not. I'm clear. The weight's gone. All those years I thought I was building something. A foundation. Family. But it was scaffolding. Meant to be invisible. Meant to be temporary. Meant to be removed once the real picture was ready. The truth is, I was never part of it. I was tolerated. Never trusted. Used. Never held. I remember birthdays. Cakes I bought. Gifts I wrapped in the garage because no one ever offered to help. I remember late nights watching over fevers. I remember waking at 4 a.m. to warm Laura's car. I remember fixing the leaking roof with my bare hands in the middle of a storm. No one remembers those things but me. I was the foundation, the silence beneath the floorboards, and they danced above me without ever asking what held them up. Now the house is theirs. Let them carry it. Let them pay the bills. Let them forget which wires lead where. Let the water back up and the circuit breakers fail. Let them open a drawer and realize the tools are gone. That no one left instructions. No diagrams. No phone number to call. That's the part they never understood. I wasn't loud. I wasn't demanding, but I was everywhere. The moment I left, the seams unraveled. Now they're stitching things together with borrowed thread, asking ghosts for help, whispering my name like it's a spell that might unlock the lights again. But I'm not a wizard. I'm not a saint. I'm just a man who finally believed what they told him. You're not our dad. You don't belong here. You don't matter. So I stopped pretending I did. Sometimes I dream about the house. It's never warm. The lights are dim. The rooms feel smaller. Mallory's voice echoes down the hallway, calling for someone. Anyone. Cody's at the table, hands buried in his hair. Unopened bills spread like confetti. Laura stands by the door, watching the driveway, waiting for headlights that never appear. I always wake before they see me. Sometimes I wonder if I was too harsh, if I should have left a letter, a warning, a final meal in the fridge. But then I remember the look on Laura's face at that parent-teacher night. The way she said, "useless father," like she was reading off a grocery list. No tremble, no regret. And I remember Mallory saying, "You're not my dad," like it was a weapon sharpened just for me. And I remember Cody asking for money, not because he respected me, but because the pipeline had suddenly run dry. That's what did it. Not the names, not the disrespect, but the certainty that I would keep giving no matter how little they gave back. Like I was a natural resource, something mined, something owed. Now they've hit bedrock, and I'm not there to dig deeper. You want to know what silence really is? It's not absence. It's a presence they can no longer reach. That's what I've become. Not a father, not a husband, just gone, but not forgotten. That's the part they weren't ready for. That even silence leaves an echo. That even ghosts leave cold spots in the room. I still get texts from Laura. "Can we talk? The kids miss you. Please." But they don't miss me. They miss the food, the phone plan, the safety, the structure. They miss the man who did everything quietly, but not the man himself. And that's the final truth I'll give you. Love without respect isn't love. It's servitude. It's indentured loyalty. It's giving everything for people who weigh you by what you provide and nothing else. So I stopped providing. I stopped replying. And the world didn't end. It just rearranged itself around my absence. Now the birds wake me, not alarms. I chop wood. I walk the lake. I sit under trees that don't ask for anything. I've become simple, not broken, not angry, just done. So now, to you, whoever's reading this, whoever's listening, whoever's wondering if it's weakness to walk away, tell me, was I wrong to leave? Or was staying just another form of self-erasure? Was I cruel? Or did I finally choose to see clearly? They said I wasn't family. I believed them. Now I live with that choice, not in regret, but in quiet. A quiet I built myself. And for once, it belongs to me,